On this week's episode of Happy Homemaking with Heidi from Heavenly Minded Home. How I DIY my laundry detergent for just 10 cents a load. Yep, you heard me right. A real chat of why I choose poverty over riches. Tackling the topic of makeup from a biblical view. Sharing about my journey to seeing the true worthlessness of career pursuit. And answering the popular question, how to start wearing dresses and actually be comfortable. So welcome, friend. Let's get homemaking. I started making my own laundry detergent a little while ago, and it works so much better, leaves my clothes so much fresher, just cleaner, and it costs me far less. I only have to make up a batch every few months, and that's even with a family of 6 doing multiple loads of laundry every single day. So we're here at Walmart to pick up what we need for the cheapest, best homemade laundry detergent you are ever going to make. Come with me. I'm going to show you exactly what we get and how I make it. So I personally got this to hold my laundry soap in. So this is just the Anchor 1 gallon for $10. Now you could do the bigger if you want. I'll show you where I have mine sitting. This fit perfect for me and it holds plenty. So I have one of these that I keep it in as far as like sitting out in my laundry room. Of course, they've got a million other options that are super duper cute over here. And this is what I have to kind of mix it and store it in, because I make up a big batch that can't all fit in my glass one. And so I have one of these big storage containers that I hold it all in between. And again, $10, super inexpensive. So I have these. OxyClean is a great one. You can get this huge box, which is a phenomenal deal for $15, or just get one of the smaller containers. Sometimes I can find this at Dollar Tree. Not same brand, but the same product. So it's kind of hit or miss, but OxyClean especially, you got kids, a lot of active, nucky smells that are coming through your laundry room. OxyClean can be a great one. I do a box of borax here, $5.97 for this. A box of super washing soda here, $5.38. And you can do baking soda if you want. I kind of flip it back and forth sometimes. Sometimes I'll do baking soda, sometimes I'll do OxyClean. Kind of just depends on what I'm needing. Sometimes I will throw in a bag of this laundry detergent. I like the Roma one. And again, that's just $1.48. So sometimes I will do Roma. I've also done the Foca brand as well. So sometimes I will do these. Then for the soap part, I either get this right here, $1.78, or I get this Zote brand. So either or. This one is much larger. The pink one has some fragrance in it. White does not. So you do with that what you will. I'm gonna go ahead and get one of each. So $2, just under six. And I went ahead and they had the OxyClean at Dollar Tree. I'll show you that when I get home. And this is what we need to make the best laundry detergent. Now, the first thing I do is pull out my cheese grater to grate up the soap. Now, you want to be very careful when you do this. Actually leave the wrapper on for as long as possible because it can be really easy for your fingers to slip off and get cut. So just be mindful when you do this to be careful. Now, when I go to use something like the Phil's Naphtha that is a little bit more dense than the Zote, I actually go ahead and grade part of this on the regular side and then the other part on like the smaller side of my cheese grater here, just to get that broken down a little bit. When you're grating this, you want to try to do it in a way that you're getting smaller chunks of soap and not larger chunks of soap. And again, being very, very careful to not cut your fingers. Once this is all grated, I put it in the main jar that I have so it can be ready to get mixed. So I take the large container here and open up the borax and the superwashing soda. And the goal is here to pour them in kind of evenly, about half of the box. And then I add one of the small oxygen cleaners, kind of mix that together, add in those soap flakes and the old soap, and then top it off with the rest of the powder. The soap flakes really do start to kind of like stick to everything. So I kind of like doing half and half. And then I just hold the lid on really tight and really give it a good mix around. It doesn't have to be perfect, but just trying to incorporate it before pouring it into the jar that I will grab from each time I do laundry with just my little tablespoon scoop in there. And voila, we've done it. It really is that simple. Using it again couldn't be simpler. I keep everything right here so it's easy to get to. I go ahead and just scoop out a nice tablespoon. I go ahead and add it into our detergent area. If it's something that's really gross and really nasty, I might put a tablespoon just into the regular drum, but I put that in there. Again, close it up, put it back. This is our old dispenser from the wellness company. And so just to kind of keep it simple and easy, this is that off-brand softener that I showed you guys. So I just put one little pump of this in here. That's just about a little capful. So it's just a teeny tiny little amount. Again, I don't want all the buildup and stuff on our laundry, but we have found that having a little bit in there does help with all of the static and animal hair that we have in our house. And then in my super awesome, nicely organized thing here, I'm gonna pull out this Pine Sol. I haven't opened it yet. It does, it kind of smells like watermelon. That's kind of crazy. And then you can measure it out. I just kind of put a splash in. That's it. It doesn't take very much. I love having a nice cabinet here because it means a place for everything and everything in its place. It stays nice and tidy. I can close this up. I run it usually with cold water and quite often on the quick wash setting. Now, every once in a while, I'll kind of do an extended wash or if we've put something in there that was really yucky, but really cold water, quick wash with this stuff, good to go. So with all of my ingredients, I really only spend between $20 and $25. I think this trip specifically was right at $21, but this is going to be enough to do at least 2 loads of laundry per day for the next 3 months. And honestly, there's even some days, bedding or something that comes up that we have to do more. And so I'm doing laundry at about 10 cents a load. And that is just absolutely phenomenal. I have found nothing else out there that comes close. And it's something that I think works really well. The items I use leave a little bit of a scent. It is, I think, rather subtle. I don't use a ton. You could add in scent beads or things like that if that's something that you really want to do. We don't like having all the extra chemicals, so we don't. The few things we have not been things that we've had issues with, but of course, do whatever is best for you and your family. And this leaves our clothes truly clean. There's not a lot of buildup. I'm not getting those musty odors, and I really do appreciate something that is so simple, so effective, and just so frugal when looking at how much laundry one needs with a family of this size. Now, maybe there will be a day that I can make this once a year and will last all year long. That would be fantastic. But for now, making these little batches every few months is super easy, totally cost effective, and so worth it for our family. You guys will have to let me know down in the comments below. Have you ever made your own laundry detergent? What are your must-haves that you put in? And so for us, we've switched over to powder, and I actually really, really like it. Never thought I'd see the day I would be a powder person and not a liquid person, but here I am, and I'm enjoying it. I'd like to invite you all to our Biblical Womanhood study, Timeless Truth for Modern Women. This study is so near and dear to my heart as I love doing this with you all every single summer, a time to dig into God's Word and truly look at His design and desire for our lives. We're going to spend 12 weeks studying through this with video discussions. We'll also have a study booklet printable, coordinating sermons, our community group, and so much more available to you all. We hope to see you here at Heavenly Minded Home as we study through this, discussing what God's Word says and how we apply this to our lives to truly be those women who stand for the Lord here in our modern day and age. Come and join this free study. New videos begin in June and will go all through August. Sign up in the link down below and I'll see you over there. So talk about a video that nobody wants to make, but this is why I choose to live in poverty and why I think you should too. And I think it's a little bit deeper than you might be expecting, but hear me out. been talking lately about one-income households and things like that, and it really made me think of this about choosing to not seek certain things, which in turn kind of puts you here in this poverty area. So being as our family has kind of been all over the map on this one. Married at 17, had our first kid and moved into our first apartment on my 18th birthday. We did that. We've always been notoriously poor, but we've also had our own business and made over 6 figures and had more than enough to go around. We've kind of done it all. And I think what's interesting is that lower income doesn't have to mean lower life fulfillment. I loved on the video talking about how to live on one income and real honest tips to get by. I asked you all to share if you're kind of in that same boat as well, and seeing testimony over and over and over again of, yeah, we don't have much maybe from a material, like monetary standpoint, but we live a rich, full life. I think that we kind of get this idea that, well, if I'm broke, if I don't have any money, then life must just really stink and everything's awful. But I think life's only as awful as you choose to see it. And that's where I think it's really important that we know our true priorities. If your true priority is a nice big designer house, a brand new fancy car, a ton of disposable cash to do whatever you want to do and just shop on all the things that you want to go shop and purchase and whatever, then sure, your priority will probably be you're going to need to work a lot, multiple jobs. Everybody gets a job, get the baby a job, the kids everybody gets a job, because you're gonna need to bring in a lot of cash to have that kind of happiness if that's what your true priority is. Spoiler alert, it never ends well. But when you know your true priority, like I remember for us when our youngest was first starting school and we really had this revelation of, is this really what we wanna do? Is it really worth it? We're both working our jobs, climbing our corporate ladders. We had moved to the town and the neighborhood, right? We were moving on up. And we're like, is this really what we want? We're at work all the time. We're not even hardly in our home. We only see our kid in the evenings and a little bit on the weekend, but we're so rushed to get everything done that you're just exhausted. Like, what's the point? What's the point of doing all of this? If I'm gonna have kids, like I wanna be with my kids. I want to, yes, pursue things that are important and we want to give back and to be productive and all of that, fantastic. But my true priority is to pour into my marriage, to be present with my kids, to build them up, to train them up, to know the Lord and walk in his ways, right? So the more we started to realize our true priorities in life, we realized that what we were doing didn't support that outcome. And so I think it's really important that when we start to really hone in on what our true priorities are, it makes it really clear to start to go, maybe my true priorities aren't accomplished with money, with status, with accomplishment from a worldly sense. Maybe there's something more. Now, sure, we have the things we have to do. You have to have somewhere to live. You have to have, but again, go check out that video about how to live on one income if you're like, there's no way we could never do it. I promise you, where there's a will, there's a way. But first we need to understand what our true priorities actually are. Something that being poor, living in poverty, whatever you want to call it, really teaches you is how to find cost-effective options. Now, I was raised with a single mom. My husband was as well. We didn't have anything growing up. And so there wasn't, just something we could go purchase, or, if something broke, we could just call a repairman, or, if something needed to be replaced, oftentimes that wasn't an option. We couldn't just replace it. You had to make do, you had to mend, or you had to just do without, it's what it was. But I love the creativity and resourcefulness that created. And so even in our lives today, there's many things that we do that we are intentional with the choices we make to come up with a cost-effective option. And I think that can be difficult. If you've been used to having 2 incomes, you grew up with disposable cash in your family, you have those things, it might be a little bit different to go, wow, like maybe I can't just go to that. An example for us, like our air conditioner unit in our house went out years ago. And it was kind of one of those things where it was having issues, and we were noticing just how expensive it was, especially during the heat of the summer and the cold of the winter, to heat the whole house, right?
HVAC systems in our country are not energy efficient. They just are not. And our bills would get so high in the summer and in the winter. And it really was just way too much with the teeny tiny budget that we had for our bills. And so then it broke and we had issues and they're so expensive to replace and all of that. And so for us, out of necessity, we had to come up with a better option. But I love that because now, even when we've had opportunities to maybe do something different, we have chosen to continue in more cost-effective options. For us, we got these portable air conditioners, and the one that we even have now, it is a heater as well. It is a fraction of the cost to run, literally a fraction of the cost. An even smaller fraction of the cost to purchase it in the first place, but then a fraction of the cost to run it. So even if our, HVAC unit was still working, I would still use these instead because it costs me so much less to run. It keeps our house so comfortable. It works great. It heats in the winter, keeps it cold in the summer. It's simple and easy to use. And my power bill now hardly fluctuates between the months. Usually here in North Carolina, spring and fall, we don't really have to run anything. The weather's just really perfect. So we really only have to run it in the summer and in the winter. But our bill hardly fluctuates. It goes up a teeny tiny little bit, but it's totally cost effective because again, we have chosen to find a better solution instead of just thinking we need to use the same thing that we've always been using or that everybody else is using and just, your bills get out of control during these months. That doesn't have to be the case. And so I think it is important that we look for cost-effective options that we can really go to and implement in order to reduce the cost in what we need. And none of this matters if you're not going to find beauty and contentment within your means. Now I get it, it's hard, okay? And I have my times where I get weak and I lose it a little bit. And I'm like, but I want a car and I wish we could buy this house. And why can't I just go do the things I want to go do? I get it. It can be stressful. We have our moments. But it's coming back and remembering that the Lord knows exactly where we are. And He provides. He is the ultimate provider. Yes, we work and we do our part, but He's the true provider in it all. And He promises to give us each day what we truly need that day. So if I don't have it today, it's because I don't truly need it today. And when I choose to see the beauty and the contentment in my life within my current means right now, that has a profound impact in every area of my life. I could sit here and I could do videos for days on everything in my life that's falling apart and should be fixed or replaced or just exist in general. I could focus on that. Or I can take what the Lord has equipped me with and make the most of it. Truly enjoy it. Get creative. Make wise choices. Maybe try some things that are a little out of the box. Learn along the way. But life is as lovely as we choose to see it. And I don't want to waste the brief amount of time that I have here in this life being discontent, being frustrated, not having enough, be complaining about everything. I want to look around and be like, Lord, it might not be perfect, but it's what you've given me. And that is a gift. I'm going to appreciate that. I'm going to have fun with it. I am going to make the most out of each and every day because I don't know how many days I get. And so finding that beauty and contentment within your means where you're at right now, might it be different some other day? Sure, it might. But today, this is what it is, and I'm thankful for that. Be sure to check out our simplified approach to the FlyLady system, a biblically based homemaker system with over 40 videos, custom printables, and so much more for just $10. These videos are going to help you through every step of the way, going from deep cleaning to even minimizing and simplifying, but also things like your Bible study, including the kids and the chores, and keeping the home in order in a way that is practical and covers every area of your home. We'll go through the different zones. We'll look at different problem areas of the home and have custom printables to help you keep it all together and on track. We're going to dig into the areas like Bible time and so much more with some encouragement all along the way. Click the link down in the description to get instant access today. Can Christian women wear makeup? Is it a sin? Is this something that's okay? Is there such thing as modest makeup? Now, welcome to YouTube where everybody has an opinion, but instead of that, let's open up scripture. Let's dig in and let's tackle this very important topic here today. So first and foremost in all of this, I am a big believer in always getting down to the root, okay? Don't just tackle the surface stuff. Don't just treat things with a Band-Aid. If your arm is broken, go get it reset and put in a cast, right? Let's dig down to the root. Let's figure out the heart of the problem here so that we're truly addressing it in a way that is full, that is complete, okay? Scripture emphasizes inner beauty and modesty over outward appearance time and time again, right? Biblical womanhood. If you guys are joining us for this study, we're digging into this because it is so important to understand, especially those of us with daughters and even sons, right? Teaching our daughters what to be, our sons to understand these things, what for them to look for, and, you know, a potential future spouse for them. These are really important topics. Makeup can be used appropriately without vanity or excess, but it really is important to understand the balance of this. And so that's what we're going to get to here in the end, but I want to make sure that we're really looking at this. And some scriptures that kind of stood out to me in making sure that we're addressing the inner part first would be scriptures like 1 Peter chapter 3, verses 3 through 4, where Peter writes, "Don't be concerned about the outward beauty of fancy hairstyles or expensive jewelry or beautiful clothes. You should clothe yourself instead with the beauty that comes from within, the unfading beauty of a gentle and quiet spirit, which is so precious to God." So right there, right? When we go through this, we hold that mirror up in front of ourselves and we go, all right, am I concerned more with the outward, the adornments, the external? Is that what I'm really concerned about? Or am I really pursuing the unfading beauty of a gentle spirit, right? The things that the Lord desires and sees as beautiful. But we want to look at this. We want to remember things like Proverbs 31, verse 30, where it says, "Charm is deceptive and beauty does not last, but a woman who fears the Lord will be greatly praised." Can you wear things? Can you do stuff? Sure, you can, but not if you haven't addressed the root. Not if you haven't dug into your heart and really gone, man, where am I at in these areas? This external adornment, what's the purpose for it? Hear me out. Real quick, pop on. I know so many of you have messaged me and you're so precious. I love you all so much. You've asked me about where my little dainty emerald necklace came from. And I wanted to let you all know, I figured this was easier. It came from one of our favorite jewelry companies ever. She said yes. That's where I got this emerald ring as well. You guys have seen me share about them and their sister company, Julia Jewelry. All of my rings, everything I wear pretty much comes from them. And so I got this beautiful little soft emerald necklace here. Something that I could wear, a necklace that could kind of be like a daily wear, you know, piece of jewelry that was simple, was dainty, but was good quality and would hold up and be something that I could wear over and over and kind of with anything. And so I got this from She Said Yes. I loved it because it matched here. I love emerald, of course, gotta have the green. And so I do just absolutely love this. I thought it turned out so great. It's the perfect size and really is just holding up so well. So thank you all for your sweet messages. Yes, it came from She Said Yes. And of course I have a discount code for you all linked down below. So again, if any of this can be a blessing, if you ever see something and you would like to know where to get it from, check the description or leave me a comment. I'm happy to get you the details. And of course, any special savings that I can pass on to you, I'm going to do. So She Said Yes with their beautiful things that they have, but absolutely love this necklace. And I will link the exact one I got down in the description there with that discount code. So anyways, back to makeup. Now I do want to make sure we add here because I think it is important. Cultural context of makeup during biblical times and even just historically in more modern times. But we see things, right? 2 Kings 9 verse 30. This is one that people go to where it talks about Jezebel, right? And there's this horrible, horrible thing and it talks about all the makeup she wore. And so people go, see, makeup is evil, makeup is sinful. Well, there's no Bible verse that says thou shalt not wear makeup. It's talking about this woman. It's describing her. She was an evil, evil woman. The makeup didn't make her evil. She was evil in her heart. And you can tell that because it poured out into everything she was, just like what we just talked about there with Peter. I can have the most beautiful external presentation when inside I'm rotten and far from the Lord. And so it's important when we look at this and we understand the times of, yes, we do live in a day and age where makeup is more culturally acceptable. You know, you think back even to the early 1900s when women started to put rouge on their cheeks and it was like, whoo, what kind of a lady of the night are you, right? Like zhuzhing yourself up with that. There is cultural context, absolutely. And I think that if you really feel convicted of, well, this wasn't commonplace back then, so it shouldn't be now. Well, neither was using the internet, right? Neither was watching TV. Those things didn't exist. The things that we have today didn't exist like they did. And so if that's a line for you that you don't want to cross, then you listen to your convictions and don't cross it. But I think when we go back and understand the women, the areas that they focused themselves on really, you know, going into their beauty was a lot of things along, you know, the oiling of their skin and their hair decorations, right? Adding in the beads and the braiding and all of the intricacies there. Makeup wasn't necessarily commonplace like it is today. And again, that's why we can't go to scripture and find the verse that says, thou shalt not wear makeup. That's not what we find. And so if we're trying to go around and beat each other over the head and cast these judgments upon one another when it comes to things like this, we're out of place and we're not acting with a heart truly of the Lord. And that's a really important thing to pause and remember. Now, 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 31 reminds us, so whether you eat or drink or whatever you do it all for the glory of God. This brings us back to those first scriptures. We have to test our hearts. And you have to answer this question. Only you can. You have to go before the Lord and answer this. If there's anything in your life that you are not willing to give up, if you go, oh, I would not go out of the house without a full face of makeup on, or I would not let anyone see me without this, or oh, I would not have gray hair. If there's any of those areas that you would not give up, that's an idol in your life. And you're going to need to address that. You and the Lord need to work on your heart. If there's something you go, ooh, I don't know, maybe I should try giving this up. Maybe I should give up makeup or should give up getting my hair done or whatever it might be that you're feeling that conviction in. Shopping, clothes, you know, whatever it is. Maybe you give it up for a period of time. And as you go through that process, if it's really like, I can't believe I don't have this, that might have been a little bit of idolatry in your life. And it's a great thing to be able to let it go, prayerfully work through it with the Lord, and then see where you land on the other side. Because we're all here to do everything that we do to the glory of God. My getting up and getting put together in the morning and serving my family faithfully and serving my ministry and doing the things that I do, I am doing it all to the glory of God. I love feeling feminine and put together and my husband thinking I look beautiful and my daughters thinking that they like seeing their mom put together and productive. But I also love that everyone who knows me knows that I will show up without a lick of makeup, my hair thrown up. I don't care if I got breakouts all over my face. It doesn't matter to me because I'm here to be me. And if you're wanting me because you're wanting some picture perfect thing, then I'm gonna let you down. But if you're wanting me because you're wanting a heart that is truly desiring to be there and to give my all, then I am here all day. And all of us have to go through that and answer that question for ourselves and not just walk around throwing stones and casting judgments on others because, well, I can't believe your earrings look like that. Ooh, she has lipstick on. Oh, she's wearing that. Oh, she's doing that. We should be discerning in that and have that grace and that willingness to not be quick to offense. And that's really important and says a lot more about where our hearts are at than where theirs are. But just like Paul writes in his letter to Timothy, 1 Timothy chapter 2, verses 8 through 9, he says, therefore, I want the men everywhere to pray, lifting up holy hands without anger or disputing. I also want the women to dress modestly with decency and propriety. He doesn't say blandly, have nothing frilly, no adornment, absolutely nothing external. That's not what it says. It says modesty, decency, and propriety. And so all of us have to hold those mirrors up again and go, Lord, is this a heart desiring modesty, decency, propriety? Is this what I am showing to others? Am I doing these things to try to make attention come on to me and have everyone look at me and praise me and think something of me? Or do they see that through my actions? Who who I am and what matters because of what I do, how I talk, what I prioritize, how I behave. And again, if a further video on seeking out modest adornment, modest makeup is something you guys would like to see, leave me a comment down below. I'm more than happy to do that. I'm not saying that anybody has to do it like me whatsoever. No, the point is that we address the heart. And if we've addressed the heart, we've dealt with that, and this is where we come out, then praise God, let's go faithfully and serve him. Friend, I've got your back. Don't you worry about it. We had such an overwhelming success. I love getting y'all's comments that you've shared with me about Primal Queen. I started using it, was blown away at the difference I'm feeling in so many areas of my life. I shared it with y'all last month, and you guys are seeing the same changes as well. And so I'm going to extend our offer for August as well. For everybody who signs up and gets these beef organ supplements through my code linked down below, you know, with a special 10% discount. Everybody who signs up this month, everybody who orders anything using my link down below, drop your email in the form linked in the description to get entered in to win an additional month for free, completely on me, shipped over to you because I believe in these so much. These are simple supplements that you take each and every day, and it's just natural beef organs made for women by women. And the amazing thing with this is when you take these supplements, again, super simple, 2 little supplements a day, it's easy peasy to do. They're all natural. They are from God's creation, and therefore your body can process these nutrients far better than anything else you have ever taken, ever, I promise you. Everything else that's out there with the vitamins we take and so many things that we try to do, those different weird drinks and things that we're taking, a lot of them are filled with synthetic materials, or they're just disgusting and awful to take in the first place. I will be honest and say that's why I usually don't keep up with those other things. This, on the other hand, is super duper easy, and I have found so much healing going on. More energy, more mental clarity. I'm sleeping better. Intimate issues are getting so much better. My cycles are becoming far more regular, way less just difficult and hard. I'm not experiencing the same PMS symptoms. Skin, hair, nails, all of that is getting so much better with a great immune boost as well. So I highly recommend you all check out Primal Queen. I have more videos about this, detailing all of this, and if you would like to see that, leave me a comment, let me know. Otherwise, check out that link down in the description. Order yours today for 10% off, and then leave your email in the form linked below so that way you can get entered to win an entire month on me. Ladies, I'm sorry, but I'm just going to say it. Your career doesn't matter, and this is why. Now, I've done the whole boss babe thing. Owned my own businesses, was wildly successful. I pursued the whole college and career path. I'm not saying this lightly. I've been there, I've done those things, and they really made up my identity and who I was, what my focus and priority was in every aspect of my life, right? That's what we're told to do, to go to college, get a good job, pursue a great career, make the right amount of money, to do the right amount of things, to live the life that we think is so important. And my mother-in-law's recent funeral service that we just went out to attend really did just cement in for me that my new focus, not boss babe, not college and career, right? None of that. This new focus is actually what's best and what actually matters the most. Her service was focused on the impact that she had to a room full of loved ones. And the impact that she had was through her service as a mother. Because I found it quite amazing that while my mother-in-law did some truly remarkable things in her day and in her life and her experiences, I mean, we can talk about all of her worldly accolades. I mean, she performed with famous singers in front of huge sold-out stadiums for the Billy Graham Crusades back in the 60s and 70s. You know, she did these just amazingly huge things. She went to college. She was a professional. You know, all of these different things that we saw that you're like, wow, you know, I kind of forgot about that, but you're right. I mean, those were things that she did. But her identity, what she focused herself in as a single mom to then 5 children, was in pouring into her children to the best of her ability. Now, I'm not saying that if you have a career, you're sinning or they're all evil and bad. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that we will not be remembered for the careers we've had, the professional achievements we've met, or any of the accolades we've collected. We'll be remembered for the people that we truly impact. The effect that we have there and the ones that we can invest in that will carry on into eternity. That's where we see true lasting impact. That's where at the end of it all, whenever that day comes that the Lord calls us home, when those who know us gather, that's what they'll remember. And I think that that was so amazing to sit there as a mom of 4 kids, a wife of, over 20 years now, and a sister, a daughter, a friend. And it really was something to reflect on and go, wow, I've done many things, but come the day past the day the Lord calls me home, what is it that I would be remembered for? It's not being a boss babe. It's not that, I graduated early, even as a teen mom, went straight to college, got a career, those aren't going to be the things that people gather to talk about. But there's certain things that they will. And so that really was a wake-up call to me to remember that there's certain areas that I want to prioritize. Because at the end of it all, they're what actually matter. So why waste all this time on things that don't matter when we can focus on the things that do? The marriages we build. My husband and I have gone through many rough patches. 20 years of marriage will do that to you. Building up our marriage is so important. Pouring into one another. Remembering, even on the days when he's driving me a little crazy and maybe I'm doing the same to him, that we have one another. Not everybody gets that, and we're thankful for that. The children we pour into. Hearing her children speak, one right after the other. Seeing in our family right now 5 generations of believers that came from her. She was the first believer in her family, and now 5 generations can credit their faith to the work the Lord did through my mother-in-law. That's amazing. Training our children up in the ways of the Lord, being there for them, being present, pouring into them, being available. That is something that is so worthwhile and far above my putting those things on the back burner because I have my own things I'm trying to accomplish. And the third thing that really stood out was just the lives that we impact in even seemingly small ways. I think so often we go through life with an idea in our head of what we're trying to get to or what it needs to be or what our goal is, and we don't realize that we're impacting people along the way. Maybe it's for good, maybe not so good, but that's something to really pause and look at and go, wow, that neighbor in need that you lend a hand to, someone in church that you connect with. Even I love it here meeting you all and studying scripture and looking at biblical womanhood and going through these things and just taking that time to lift one another up. We're all making an impact. So maybe it would be worthwhile to be intentional with those impacts and to really make them in ways that lift one another up and point us all towards the goodness of the Lord. So if the career doesn't matter, the accolades and accomplishments aren't what we need to be focusing on, then what do we focus on? What do we try to really grow and prioritize in our life? Well, I think it's important as we look at those points we just discussed that we just remember to measure our life as the Lord does. When we stand before the Lord and, yearn to hear those words, well done, good and faithful servant, what is the service that the Lord is looking for? Is it business promotion? Is it financial, footprint? Is it, the size of your house, the, type of car you have, the decor on your walls, whatever you think of? What is it that the Lord is going to measure when you stand before him? Remember your true worth. I think so often we've been led to believe this just lie that our worth comes from career and, what we give to the world. And I find that interesting considering Us women have been led to believe that we have to pursue everything outside of our homes, and so therefore we're not focused on the things inside of our homes, and then our marriages fall apart, our children fall apart, nobody's walking with the Lord, nobody's even talking to each other, all these things come up and happen. And it's like, oh, but I was so focused on my impact I made here because I thought that's where my true worth came from, was, whatever I accomplished. When then all of this fell apart, or my kids grew up so fast and I really wasn't there, and now they're not walking with the Lord and it's just really hard, or my marriage is falling apart, or we're struggling, or whatever it might have been. When we remember our true worth, we remember the value and the impact of being a godly woman and how that affects us and our husbands and our children and everybody we come into contact with. What building up a godly home as our priority, not that it's the only thing we do in the world, but it's our priority, the impact that has for many generations to come can be absolutely huge. Don't believe the lies that you're fed. Measure your life as the Lord does and remember your true worth. As we cultivate a spirit of purity and gentleness in a loud, just crass, nasty world, look at the difference that can make when we realize that I don't have to be a boss babe to be worth something. A gentle homemaker with a pure spirit, pouring into others, happily, willingly serving the Lord, is one of the greatest things we could ever possibly do that won't just reap us benefit here in this life, but for the eternal one to come. And that's a perspective I want to remember all the time. Remember to come and get your Heavenly Minded Homemaker Planner. This is 93 pages of downloads for just $5, customizable to fit your home needs. There's biblical womanhood scriptures included. You can see the biblical holy days all year long, Passover to Passover, with seasonal designs that are beautifully watercolored, so that way you can use the multiple inserts to fit your home, your needs with the Heavenly Minded Home Homemaker Planner. Friends, have you ever seen those women and they look so beautiful in their dresses? They look so pretty and you go, okay, that's it. I want to have this more kind of feminine, polished, put together look. I like the modesty. I'm going to start wearing dresses. And then you get a dress and you put it on and you go, this is so uncomfortable. I could never wear a dress. I was right there, jeans and t-shirt gal all my life. But I'm going to answer one of my most frequently asked questions in how to actually wear dresses on a normal basis and feel absolutely comfortable. I'm gonna share it all with you right here today. Now, my journey to being a woman who wears dresses really took me a very long time. And I've shared videos before how I even did a challenge where I had 7 dresses for 7 days, and those 7 dresses were all I wore for seasons. And it really taught me a lot. And that's what I want to share with you all here today. Now, dresses do make up the majority of my wardrobe. I am most always in a dress. I don't own a lot, but when I'm wearing something, that's what you're usually going to find me in. And it all really began because my husband and I have been together for over 20 years now. And he always was like, oh, you should wear dresses. I love dresses. They're so beautiful. And women just look so feminine. And, he always had all these great things to say. And I was like, no way. I hate dresses. I don't feel comfortable in them. Jeans and a t-shirt. I'm good to go. I am not a dress person. Fast forward a bunch of years. And I went ahead. I don't really know why, but I said, I'm going to give it a try. I'm gonna try wearing dresses. So I went and I picked something out, and I had a couple dresses that I would wear. I was a wedding planner, and so I had my black dress that I would wear to events, but it was kind of just that, and it was it, and I didn't really wear dresses any other time. And I remember I put on this dress and I felt so uncomfortable. Everywhere I went, I felt like I was just overdressed. I felt like everybody was staring at me. I just felt so uncomfortable with everything about me, and I wanted to give it all up and never wear a dress ever again and go back to my jeans and t-shirt. But doing that challenge and sticking with it actually taught me a lot. And that's what I want to share with you all here today, because I think a lot of us are kind of the me in that part where you're like, I don't know, I feel so overdressed, everybody's looking at me, I don't know how to do this, and it feels uncomfortable. These are the things that I learned and what got me to this point now that I love wearing dresses. I keep a very minimal wardrobe. I don't have a lot, but of the majority of things that I have, the mass majority is going to be dresses, and this is why. Now, the first things I really learned when I just went for it and said, okay, let me try out this whole dress thing. Dresses are quite phenomenal, okay? Let me just tell you. Woman to woman here, you look instantly put together. You really do. I think probably a lot of the times where I was feeling like I was overdressed for anything I ever went to was because I was. You look at how most people dress today, just go out anywhere in public and you see the things people wear and you're like, wow, guys, like we look back to, you know, I think of like the 40s and the 50s and what women looked like in their cute little dresses and their hair done and all of their things. And you just looked put together, right? It's not about, you know, feeling like life's a beauty pageant, but it's just being put together and being presentable. And we look at the world today and that's not really what we're getting. And so I do like the idea that I can put this on and I just look put together. And it's really, really simple. And that's my second point is wearing a dress is more comfortable than wearing sweatpants. It really genuinely is. I remember the first time I put on jeans, or maybe it was like dress pants, but it might have been jeans. The first time I put pants on after wearing a dress for an extended amount of time, I instantly could feel all the areas in my mama 4 body that no longer are what they used to be, and I was so instantly uncomfortable. Now, I have leggings and things that I'll put under a dress in the winter, but even wearing those, no thank you. I am so much more comfortable in a dress. It's like wearing the best set of loungewear, but yet you look super put together, all from wearing a dress. So I was amazed at the difference that made. My third point was really the modesty aspect of it. Now, can you wear a dress that is absolutely immodest? Yes, you can, okay? So I'm not saying all dresses are made the same. There's a lot of dresses that are not modest. We got that. But when I started finding things, cuts and lengths and different ways things fit on my body, and really it's just trial and error. That's why I'm a big shopper at a thrift store, so I can try different things and see what I like without spending very much. But I started to notice how much more modest it was. When I do wear jeans, I'm suddenly like, oh wow, like my whole rear end is like out on display. And so trying to find longer tops and things like that to feel comfortable in those times when I do on occasion wear something else. But dresses are such an easy way to, yes, you look put together, they're incredibly comfortable, but they're very modest, depending, of course, on the cut and length and things like that you get. But I felt like it was so much easier to find something that really was beautiful and feminine, but modest when I started looking for dresses or even, you know, skirt and shirt combos. And so if you're wanting to try out dresses, you're wanting to give it a shot, whether you're gonna take me up on an offer I have here for you in a minute, or it's just something you wanna try now and again, I think the first thing to do is to find something that you feel maybe not comfortable in because it is different, but you feel like it fits your body comfortably. And so for me, I'm all about thrift store shopping. Everything I own, this included, comes from a thrift store. I very rarely have things that aren't thrift store, hand-me-downs, or just something that was gifted to me. I just think that you can get so many wonderful things from thrift stores, and I like keeping a very minimal wardrobe anyways. I keep a few dresses on hand and I'll swap them out periodically, you know, usually for the warmer months and the colder months. A couple times a year I'll swap stuff out as I need it. But find a dress that when you put it on, you feel like it's fitting your body comfortably. For me, I like crew neck stuff always. I've got stuff in my front that I'm constantly pulling and tugging at stuff. So I just like my collars being nice and high, so that way all my business is put where it needs to be and I don't have to worry about it. I'm also very tall. I'm 5'7". I have very long legs. And so for me, I want absolutely everything past the knee. I go for midi length or floor length and everything because I am tall. And so if it is not a longer dress, it is going to look very short on me because I have very long legs. So I look for something that is longer, and I look for something that has a nice high neckline. When I fit those two categories, then I know I'll take a better look at this. And then I kind of look at things and see, I don't like something that's, really skin tight. I like a little bit of flow in my dress. I usually like something that has a little bit of a sleeve, or I wear my little like kimonos over my dresses. But you'll kind of start to figure out as you start trying on different things, the things that you feel comfortable in your skin, right? They fit your body well. And I think that's really just a trial and error thing. So once you've picked out a dress or two, you know, whatever it might be that you're like, all right, you've gone to the thrift store, or honestly, I think Walmart actually has had some of my favorite dresses. The only dresses that I have bought full price in the past maybe 5 years have actually been Walmart dresses, and they've held up fantastic. I know it's surprising. I'll link some of my favorites down below. But the only time I've ever actually bought the only things I have that are full price items in my closet come from Walmart. And if you wait till the end of the season, you get them on clearance, even better deal. But they've held up great, just saying. Once you get some dresses that you're like, okay, I can give this a shot, really, you have to go for it. You have to put it on and go for it. So once you've gotten some dresses and something that you're like, okay, I'm ready to do this, this is a little bonus step, but just hear me out. There is something beautiful about femininity. You know, so many of us, we look back at these like vintage times and it just feels so romantic and so beautiful. But when you really start to pay attention, it's the little tiny details that make something very lovely. And so, for instance, if you're going to kind of make this change, you're ready to maybe be dressing more modestly or more feminine or whatever it might be that you're kind of wanting to work into just your life's change. Doing little things like clearing out your closet or your dresser. For us, I cleared out our closets and I got these Walmart bookshelves that I put in there with a just hanger rods from, I think I got them from Lowe's, but I put those in there and made like DIY built-in closets for us here. It's renter friendly, super easy, but I put them in there and that gave us these great little cubbies where I could hang, you know, some blouses that I had. I have some shelving for my shoes. My husband has everything he needs. I even did this for the kids. And then I have a rack in the middle for my dresses. And it just felt so lovely and wonderful to have this, like, I want to be more intentional with what I'm wearing and how I'm, you know, putting myself out there and knowing that my heart is being addressed and I want to be modest and feminine and kind of put together in all of this in a very kind of simple approach. Having this lovelier, cleaner slate to work with was wonderful. I love doing things like getting thin velvet hangers. Now you can get these from Walmart, you can get them from TJ Maxx, Ross, anywhere. I mean, everywhere has them. I think even Dollar Tree has stuff like this now. But having these instead of just the plain old plastic hangers, it looks beautiful. It actually allows you to fit things in nicer and it clings onto the material of the dresses really well to keep everything in place. So highly recommend them. Again, I'll link some of these things down below. If it can be a blessing to you, you want to see what I'm talking about, you can go check that out. But I put all of those in there and then like the icing on the cake that just made it feel so lovely and feminine. And like I walk in and I open my closet and it's just like, you know, like here I am ready to go start my day, was something that makes the biggest difference. When I went to Carlsbad Caverns as a kid, they gave us a whole tour about this and I've never forgotten it. Lighting makes everything. It genuinely does. And I think about that around our house and different things that we're doing. And my favorite thing that I cannot get enough of are these little rechargeable motion sensor lights. I know that they're like, you can get them everywhere now, and I'll link my favorites down below. Super inexpensive. And I love these ones because they're magnetic. So like in my closet, again, I kind of did that setup for myself, got the nice hangers, everything's clean, tidy, minimal, organized. I can see everything that I need. And then I have these rechargeable lights and you just stick them on and they're magnetic. So when I need to charge them, you just slide them right off, go charge them. I have them just on my cell phone charger. It's super, super simple. And then I put them back in there and they last forever. I have these sensor lights all over our house. I have them in pantries, I have them in bathrooms, I have them in my office, like anywhere we have. But you put these rechargeable lights on things and it instantly just like elevates the space. It looks so elegant, so beautiful. And so again, it's a really simple, inexpensive thing, but I'm trying to do something different, right? Pick out some dresses, some things I'm willing to try. I've cleaned out my closet, tidied it up, whether you get the, you know, cheapo bookcases and do the thing like I did or not, but then adding a little light in there, just making it this beautiful little thing, spraying a little bit of fabric freshener, a little bit of perfume in there so everything smells good. Those little touches make it just feel so feminine and so luxurious. And that leads us to our final point, which is to go for it. Really, that's it. Like, I know this whole video and all of these things about dresses, and the bottom line is you have to go for it. If you've not been someone who's worn dresses your whole life, it's gonna feel different. Just like if you were someone who always wore dresses and then you wore jeans, it would feel different. You would feel uncomfortable. Whenever we're doing something that isn't our norm, it's not what everybody else is doing, right? It's just something that is different, it's gonna feel it. And so the biggest point really is to just go for it. And I think that it was such a learning experience and really did do more internally for me even than externally. But just going for it and knowing why I wanted to do this, why I felt this was important, why seeking modesty really was so it was just such a priority and so impactful for me. The more I went through all of that, because I was continuing to wear dresses every single day in what I did, the more it really impacted all of those areas and really helped me to grow in them. And then before you know it just feels comfortable. I love every day that, again, open up my closets, my little lights pop on, it smells good because I always spray my fabric freshener in there, and I just grab a dress, right? It doesn't even matter. I just pick one out and put it on, and I feel put together. I feel ready to go. And it is so funny, you know, the things I'll get the sweetest comments from people, and they're, oh, you look so, I'm like, oh, that's so kind of you. You know, all glory to God. I just enjoy being able to come out and just feel great each day and make the most out of every opportunity God gives me. And that's what it's all about. And things like taking care of our health and even our physical selves, feeling like we're put together and ready to go get out there and serve, really makes a big impact. And so I want to encourage you. Who else wants to join me and take the next 7 days and try out wearing dresses? Even if you find this later on, leave me a comment down below and say, you know what, I'm gonna give it a shot. I'm gonna do, you know, the weekend or all week or whatever it is that you want to commit to try it out and see, what did you learn? What did you notice about yourself and just how you felt in all of it as you took this kind of dress challenge to look at dressing more modestly, more feminine, really just taking that way of, it doesn't have to be over complicated, it doesn't have to be super formal, but just feeling more put together, more lovely as you go about your day and whatever it is that the Lord is putting before you. Leave me a comment down below. You all know I got my dresses here and cooler weather is coming up. So if anybody wants to see a dress haul, leave me a comment, let me know, and I'm happy to share. If it can be a blessing for you, you know I'm going to pass that on. Thanks so much for joining me here for this week's episode of Happy Homemaking. Now we have extended versions of all these segments that will be available throughout the week for you to watch. Be sure when you subscribe to turn on your bell notifications so you see them as they come out, and you can access everything right here at this playlist. Have a wonderful week. We'll see you in the next one. Bye, friends.